With Your Honour's leave, I'd like to call my next witness.
Yes, get a move on.
Miss Stacey Slater.
If you could stick to what you saw.
Allow me to clarify. You did see Linda Carter leave the pub that night?
Yes.
No further questions, Your Honour.
You changed your statement at a later date.
Well, I didn't know it was relevant then, did I?
So, when did it become relevant?
When Linda told me what she saw.
So you changed your statement to back her up?
Well, I'm backing her up. I was just telling the truth.
Sharon Watts, come through.
Ms. Watts. Your relationship with the deceased. How would you describe it?
He was the love of my life.
The love of my life. Those were your words. Is that correct? Keanu Taylor, the deceased, was the love of my life.
Yes.
When did you last see the love of your life?
Christmas Day.
And that was also the day of your wedding, is that right?
Yes.
Nice wedding? Oh, sorry, it was a... Wedding never took place, did it? You are a liar, Miss Watts. You told your fiancé he was the father of your baby, whereas in actual fact, your ex-husband, a Mr. Grant Mitchell, is the father. Isn't he, Miss Watts?
Grant, no.
Sorry, your ex-husband is not the father of your baby?
No. Well, yeah, he is.
Yes, Mr. Grant Mitchell.
Phil Mitchell.
Yes, your ex-husband, Phil Mitchell, is the father of your baby. Miss Watts, I believe you have had 4 husbands in total.
Oh, my word.
You can shut your mouth.
Excuse me.
Letting go at me like this.
Calm down, or I will hold you in contempt of court.
The man is making out on some kind of tramp.
Last warning.
Shove your warning.
That's it.
I will not let that man slut-shame me.
You were warned, so I'm holding you in contempt of court. Take her down.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry. I said I'm sorry. The lawyer got to me. Don't let him do the same to you. Do you hear me? You stay strong. Because this is all on you now, Linda. It's all on you.
I'm sorry. I can't.
Linda, no. Linda. Linda!
We have to go in now. If we don't, they're going to throw the book at us.
I've been kept waiting all morning. Now they can't wait 5 more minutes.
This is a court of law.
Come on, Ed. If I don't die of old age, I'll die of boredom if we don't do something soon.
Oh, let's go. Whatever will be, will be.
Are we going in or what?
George, I didn't think...
I want to see those documents now.
They're indoors. Ain't my word enough?
No. But I know where you live. You can lead the way.
I hope all the supporting evidence for my clients have been received well, including testimonies from local youth and charitable organisations. In addition to that, we would love it if Eddie's son, George, could read a personal statement out. He's keen to show the court his depth of thought and support.
I'm George Knight, Eddie Knight's son. My dad is one of the reasons I am the man I am today. his support, and love. He didn't have any. Not for me. Because Eddie Knight is a racist who made my life hell.
I think that's enough.
It's not nearly enough. I'm stood here lying because he blackmailed me. So I could find out about my real mum. But I'm not going to stand a lie because I've lived a lie. And I hope Eddie Knight rots in hell for what he did to mine.
I think that's everything we have. Thank you.
Whatever happens next, we'll go through it together. All right?
George, no, what are you doing?
I want that info now.
Mr. Knight, we're just discussing the next court date.
Go away.
Proud of yourself, are you? They think you're a nutter. We're gonna get you done for perjury.
Me and you, back at your flat, and you're going to give me all the information about my mum. You got that?
George, please, enough is enough.
Get your hands off me before they nick you too. There ain't no info, boy. I lied. I had to get you up there. It was the only way. Now that hasn't worked out for either of us, has it now? Eh? So, you take your medicine and respect the fact this is your mum. She raised you. So stop chasing a fairy tale. You know where I am if you want to carry on with this. And unlike you, I ain't no grass. You might break your mother's heart, but you ain't breaking mine.
Sorry. What's going on?
My mum was in court today, Lainey. I'm sure of it. I didn't get a chance to meet her.
You are not going to prison. Jameson told you.
Yes, Jameson told me that it will be dealt with at the magistrates, isn't it? Yeah, get slapped on the wrist for nearly killing Denzel. Clown. So I've got to be realistic.
What, by saying they're going to lock you up and throw away the key? Oh, Kim, stop being such a drama queen. You're most likely going to get a fine, maybe a ban, a little bit of community service, you know.
And what if I don't? What's going to happen to my kids?
Oh, what, so you think that I wouldn't look after Micah and Pearl? Come on, we're family, we pull together. And anyway, you are not going to prison. I promise you. There you go. She's looking down on you, you know. It's going to be okay. Yeah? I don't know.
For your statement. Deep breaths. Be fine.
Good afternoon, ladies. Right, okay. I'm going to speak to the judge and prosecuting counsel. Request that Denzel be allowed to read his statement first. It's not usual procedure, but due to his age and obvious nerves.
Okay, but they're not going to question him, are they? Because he's not the one that's on trial.
Yeah, but neither are you. This is just a formality, right?
Calling all parties in the case of Kimberly Fox to court number 4. Kimberly Fox to court 4.
Do you hear that? Well, that's your lucky number. Come on, be positive, yeah? Go on.
Kim.
Your Honor, on Monday, the 3rd of April, 2023, at 8:45 in the evening, Miss Fox and Mr. Danes left McClunkey's fast food restaurant, London E20, and made their way to Coward's Desserts, a short drive away. It had been a somewhat emotionally charged evening. Miss Fox had not only won the Influencer of the Moment award, but a new car. The car she was driving when she received a text message on her mobile phone. Her being somewhat unfamiliar with the controls, she looked at the screen, she pulled off, she swerved to avoid a pedestrian, losing control, and collided with a thankfully empty Indian restaurant. Mr. Danes became trapped inside the vehicle, having sustained a serious head injury for which he would require emergency surgery. He was pulled to safety only moments before a 1.5-ton beam fell from the building, crushing the car.
Look at her!
Your Honour, if I could just interject.
Wait. You need to let me out. I can't breathe. Your Honour, please. I can't breathe.
Miss Fox.
I can't breathe.
Control yourself.
Kim!
Order! Miss Fox, you are in contempt of court.
Kim, just calm down. It's all right. Just calm down.
No, she's not well. She's ill. Will you just look at... Do something!
Your Honour, Miss Fox has been suffering from panic attacks.
You have medical evidence.
We're seeking to obtain a report.
Then I suggest you do it as quickly as possible. I cannot have court disrupted. Take her down.
No!
Miss Fox will be held until such time as I have medical proof.
D.S. Garrett, Your Worship. Here to seek an interim stalking protection order on behalf of Stacey Slater against Theo Hawthorne. We were first contacted by Miss Slater on the 6th of September. We met a desperate, fearful young woman. Miss Slater.
What? Is there a problem?
Quiet, please. Huge apologies. May we have a moment, Your Worship? Look, you really don't have to be here. We have been taking him down all morning. Did anyone actually see him do this?
Oh.
Look, Stacey, I'll do my best, okay? But you have to keep quiet.
This is my life he is destroying.
Exactly. He's taken so much from you already. Are you really sure you want to be here, reliving it all? He's in her messages, talking to her friends, reminding her every day that he exists. This terrifying, persistent need for ownership. Well, this even led to the suicide of a previous victim.
Your Worship, this is totally unfounded.
You do seem to be avoiding hard facts, Detective Sergeant. Perhaps let's skip past the emotions.
I am aware I'm using emotions, sir. But this is emotional. For the victim. If she were able to stand here, today, speak, you'd see that firsthand. But as you insist, hard facts. You wanted brevity, so I won't read them out. But here are 543 unwanted communications.
If I were able to question Ms. Slater, I would ask her if she denied how she met her stalker. This secret cam, it's an online sex work platform, isn't it, Miss Slater? They communicated entirely on her terms protected by the platform she signed up to. And then when she removed herself from the safety of the platform and made Mr. Hawthorne her exclusive client, well then, she couldn't have been too scared of her stalker then, could she? Could I suggest the last few months were merely a messy breakup for this couple? This kind schoolteacher who fell for the charms of a sex worker. Not clever, but not illegal. And it ended badly. I'm sorry, Miss Slater, that you feel you don't have a voice here. But one might argue it's just because you don't have much more to say on the subject.
Oh, I do have something to say.
I think Mr. Rath was speaking rhetorically. As explained, this is a civil case, so there's no question.
Civil or whatever, I'm sorry, but I've kept my mouth shut and been a good girl until now. Why do we have to play by the rules, eh? Your rules, his rules. This whole system is set up in his favour. He's given you pages and pages of evidence. Proper evidence. And then this bloke just comes in and trashes me. Why do people like Theo always get the benefit of the doubt? That's it, Stace, you tell him.
Silence.
I think her emotions have got the better of her.
I'm not emotional. I'm not some paranoid, emotional little girl. I have just had enough. I want my life back.
This order is not necessary. A waste of police time. Plus, Mr. Hawthorne's professional reputation has already been damaged, arguably beyond repair. He has, I believe, learned.
No, he's not learnt anything or changed, but take a proper look at my daughter because this is not our Stacey.
Some order, please.
So you're punishing her for speaking out? I mean, how fair is that? How bad does it have to get before you actually do something?
Case closed.
It's going to be all right.
No, it's not. I promise, Charlie.
She didn't have to come.
Yes, I did.
No, I was just letting you know.
Yeah, I'd have lumped her if you hadn't.
But it's your mum's hospital appointment today.
She's the one who practically pushed me out the door. Don't worry about her. She's with Shirley. I brought some reinforcements.
The court will rise.
Members of the jury, I have asked you to come into court so that your foreman can stand and answer questions. Could you please listen very carefully to those questions which are now going to be asked by the clerk of the court?
Would the foreman of the jury please rise? Will you please confine yourself to answering my next question, yes or no? With regard to the charge of rape against Matthew Clarkson, have the members of the jury reached a verdict upon which you all agree?
Yes.
In answer to the charge of rape, do you find the defendant, Matthew Clarkson, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
In answer to the charge of rape, do you find the defendant, Ross Swindon, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
He recognises that assaulting a police officer is a serious offence, but given the exceptional circumstances, I'd crave your indulgence in this matter, sir, and ask that my client be granted a conditional discharge for a period you see fit. He is married with 3 children. Indeed, his wife is here to support him today. I'd ask that you let him return to his family and resume his law-abiding existence.
We have listened carefully to the arguments set out today. It is this court's belief that the mitigation outlined by Mr. Spode is convincing. However, the police are the last bastion of a civilized society against anarchy. And from everything we've heard this morning, they behaved impeccably in every respect. It's our duty as upholders of the law to send out a clear signal to others who might contemplate behaving similarly. Taking all this into account, we feel that an appropriate sentence is one of 4 weeks. 2 to be served in custody and 2 on license. You will have to pay the usual victim surcharge, but there will be no additional costs or compensation due to the immediate custodial sentence. Take him down.
Miss Butcher, would you please explain to the court why you have asked to be recalled to the witness stand?
I lied. Alice didn't stab Michael the second time. I did.
I suggest the truth, which you have so far proved to have an inadequate grasp of, is that you picked up that knife and stabbed the victim in cold blood when he posed you no further threat for the simple reason that you wanted him dead.
It's not true, I swear. I swear I know that I've lied before. But I am telling you the truth.
On the charge of murder, do you find the defendant, Alice Branning, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
And that is the verdict of you all?
Yes.
On the charge of murder, do you find the second defendant, Janine Butcher, guilty or not guilty?
Not guilty.
You were brilliant. Thank you. You really were. You got Leo down exactly. It's like you're inside his head.
Do you regret it? Getting off the boat, handing yourself in, confessing to the police. When you know you could go to prison.
Some things you can't run away from.
All rise. Could the defendant rise? Have you reached a verdict upon which you have all agreed? Yes. Do you find the defendant guilty or not guilty?
Ultimately, in a case such as this, it comes down to one person's word against another. Whom do you believe, the accuser or the accused? It has to be your decision. But in coming to your decision, I would remind you that in this country, a man is presumed innocent until proved guilty. If any of you has the slightest doubt in your minds as to whether this was rape, if you think there is the slightest possibility that what happened was sex between consenting adults, then I am bound to tell you that it is your duty to find the defendant not guilty.
All right, if I come in. Shouldn't have run off like that this morning, Mum.
There was nothing more to say.
Wasn't that I didn't want to hold him?
Oh, yeah? Looked that way to me.
I thought I might break him.
He's a baby, Billy, not a China doll.
But I don't know about babies, do I? But I want to learn. Mum, I want us to get back together. I want to wake up beside you every day. And I want to be Freddie's dad.
You don't love him, Billy.
No, I don't. Not yet. You know, how can I? I don't know him. I will love him. I know I will, if you just give me a chance. Remember the day when we got married?
Of course.
Remember how happy we was? All our hopes that we had and the plans that we made. We was going to start a family, weren't we? And our family, well, we was going to be the happiest family ever in the history of the universe.
Yeah.
Well, this might not be exactly what we had in mind, but it can still happen. We can make it happen.
All parties in the case of the Crown against Foster, please make their way now to court number 3.
The verdict?
Yeah, I suppose.
Already? You okay? I'm not sure.
It's going to be fine.
What, even if they say he ain't guilty?
We'll make it fine.
All parties in the case of the Crown against Foster, please make their way now.
Have you reached a verdict on which you're all agreed? Yes. Alfie? On the charge of rape, do you find the defendant guilty? Alfie, please tell me. Or not guilty? Guilty.
Members of the jury, on the 3rd of September 2013, Mr. Carl White was involved in a car crash. At the time, it seemed to be a simple accident. A subsequent police investigation proved it to be very far from any sort of an accident. The brakes on Mr. White's car were deliberately tampered with by Mr. Max Branning, who is currently before you in the dock. And we will be bringing forward an eyewitness who will testify to that.
Your Honour, before beginning the case for the defence, I wish to make a submission of no case to answer. The case which sets out the test of no case to answer is the Galbraith case. Mr. White's allegations of threats made by Mr. Branning, simply hearsay. And while Mr. White made a big deal of these threats, he certainly wasn't sufficiently worried to tell the police about them at the time. The only apparent eyewitness to this alleged crime hasn't even seen fit to put in an appearance.
Find the defendant not guilty.
Mr. Branning, you're free to go.
All right.
It is for the prosecution to prove on the evidence that the defendant murdered Edward Royal and that he did so intending at the time to kill him, or at least to cause him really serious bodily harm. If you're not sure that the defendant struck the fatal blow with the knife, then that is the end of the prosecution's case, and you must return a verdict of not guilty. The defendant's fingerprints were found on the knife. Traces of fibre and blood linked him to the deceased. But of course, it is not in dispute that the defendant was present, and therefore your deliberations should revolve around deciding whether this was indeed an accident, or, as the prosecution claim, an act of murder. You may think from all you've heard, particularly from the defendant's mother, that the defendant was in fact desperate to escape from his mother's home. You may feel, given the severe nature of his mother's attempt to restrain him, that this was an understandable ambition, but you may also feel that his desperation to find an immediate supply of drugs was such that nothing would be allowed to stand in his way. Did he therefore intentionally cut down the deceased in an attempt to escape and find drugs? If you so find, then it must follow that his defense should be rejected and he should be found guilty of murder as charged.
Is someone going to ring us from the court? Let's know what's happening.
Well, Pete said it.
But you can't do that again. Hello? The jury's just gone out.
I'd kill for a cigarette. Or perhaps not.
Doc, they're going back in, love.
Will the foreman please stand? Please answer the following question either yes or no. Have you reached a verdict on which you are all agreed?
Yes.
Do you find the defendant, Nicholas Charles Cotton, guilty or not guilty of murder?
Not guilty.